The recording button is. All right, Weston, go for it.
Welcome, everyone, to MS Office Hours. It is Thursday, January 23rd. Let me please introduce our hosts.
Hey, everyone. I am Heather Cox.
I'm Stephanie Stevens.
And I'm Andrea Singrio, and we are so excited to have all of you with us today, especially Liz from the University of South Carolina. Super excited to have her. Thank you, Dr. Melissa Hortman, for getting us connected because she has been doing some great things with Copilot and really getting everybody connected on that campus. So let's hand it over to Liz, and we look forward to hearing from you today.
Hey everyone, nice to see you. I'm going to go ahead and try to present here, as embarrassing as that is to have to say. So I am from the University of South Carolina. I also have some team members on as well that were part of the steering committee for this effort. So this was really, really exciting. I think like a lot of us in higher ed and K-12 even, there's a lot of pressure to roll out AI, do it really quickly, and then a lot of questions and churn around, oh my gosh, is it safe? What are we doing? Who's buying what? Are we going to see any return on investment? How do I even use this thing? What's happening? So the new VP CIO at the University of South Carolina, Bryce Bible, asked me to start leading a Copilot for Productivity user group. Boy, oh boy, was it hard not to use the word pilot. That's probably the most challenging thing of this whole thing, was trying to find another word for pilot instead of saying Copilot, pilot. So anyway, we did it. It's a user group. So at the same time we were doing our user group for productivity, our vice president for research was initiating a Propel AI initiative that was geared towards faculty doing research and using Copilot for research. So we partnered with them, and Melissa Hortman was and Erdina were godsends for us, and I highly recommend that you connect with them if you're trying to do some kind of rollout, because they were really instrumental into the things that we were doing and helping get us started. So we had about 200 participants overall, faculty, staff, and students across all disciplines and support areas. And one of the things I will say that I would do differently if I had to do this all over again is I really would want our CIO to talk to the deans first and get some more faculty support. The way I went about getting people interested in our pilot was going to a group that we have of IT directors across campus from all of our units and colleges like engineering and things like that. So we wound up at first with a really heavy population of IT users, and less so on the faculty side and less so in areas like advising, HR, legal, things like that. So at the latter half of kind of trying to figure out how many folks we were going to give the free licenses to and things like that, I had to start making calls and asking people, could you please nominate some folks from these areas? Because I noticed that all we were getting were IT people. So as we were setting that up, that's just a little bit of lessons learned advice that I would give, is really think hard about how you want to design your program and your participants and recruit folks. And then obviously there were, in this time, I don't want to use the word political pick, but there were also considerations, like I really wanted the president's chief of staff to participate to get some visibility. I really wanted some representation from the provost's office and things like that. So a lot of it too was kind of chatting folks up and getting people excited and wanting to participate and making sure we had good representation across the entire university. That was really important. So I'm not going to read the slides to you because I'm assuming that we're all literate, but we did have some key goals. I think the biggest one was really a lot of the fear around security. So that was one of the main things we were looking at, and making sure that people understood that AI is a tool. It's just the latest tool. And it's no different than any other technology tool that we've seen come and go, and that the data that you have access to now is the same data that Copilot's going to pull from. So if you're breaking the rules, then you would be breaking the rules without Copilot, or you would be inadvertently having access to things that you shouldn't have. And in that case, Copilot's really great because it's actually bringing that forward into the forefront, so people will know about it and we can reduce access or tag documents appropriately. One of the things that people were really concerned about was the board notes and things like that, people having access to those that they shouldn't. And so that's why it was really key that we had the chief of staff there. And she helped us work through some of that and just making sure, like, hey, faculty member X doesn't have, executive notes from the board and things like that. So calming and tamping some of those fears was a huge goal. And I see the comment here about getting faculty interested. That's one thing that I'm really proud of in our rollout is, and I think partnering with the VPR in his office at the same time that they had the rollout of their AI for research program really helped. And that was key to our success as well. So another thing that I think made our program really successful and ultimately the thing I'm the most proud of is we have a really strong capstone program in our School of Engineering. And we used a capstone group of students to help us. So basically, we got them for 12 weeks. They run it in a Scrum Agile methodology, and they really helped us with our goals, with crunching the numbers, getting the data, promotion, some of the things that we couldn't do as just a group of four. So there were four of us on the steering committee. Rick Byers, who's here with me today, he was part of that. He's our O365 specialist. And, really having another four hands on deck to help us was great. They actually built our newsletter. So this is the Copilot connection, and I'll be glad to walk you through this at the end of my presentation. So we built this in conjunction with Central Communications using Axios, which is our university-wide newsletter format. So they sent this out. They did interviews with faculty and staff members that were big users of Copilot, getting tips and tricks, doing interviews, videos. They did a survey. We really, really utilized our students, and I felt really proud of that because it was just, I came from banking. So one of the reasons that I took my job and felt kind of called to make some life changes, I guess, not to get on my therapy hat here, but was things like this. I wanted to help educate students. I wanted to help them succeed. Wanting to get them ready for the workforce, things like that. So that was really, really important to me. And this was the first time I'd been able to have the opportunity to do it, and it was so powerful. And if you have access to a group of capstone or honors students or anyone that's interested, students that are interested, getting them involved in a project like this where they can really put this on their resume, I was so delighted to do that, and it was a really great experience. The other thing that I think really made us successful, and I would really encourage everyone when you're launching your Copilot or things like that, working with your customer service or customer account manager to set up a Copilot Center of Excellence in Teams. This was another portion, the other half of it that I think made us really, really successful in usage and adoption. As you can see here, I just kind of took a screenshot, but they help you set up the entire thing is kind of canned, but in a fabulous way. And so they help us set this up. Everyone that's in either the research pilot or in our productivity user group, are in this, and this is just an example of some of the engagement we got. We had even some of our developers and network folks putting the prompts in every day that they were using to do automation. This one's around Ansible. It was really, really cool to watch people connecting. This is just, I can't say enough about the help and support that we got from Microsoft getting this set up. The other thing that I think was really, really helpful was having someone on our team, Rick, who understood Microsoft, the licensing, understood just how Teams and the differences between Teams Premium and Copilot and things like that, and really being able to use the Viva Insights. So Viva Insights really helped us craft communications, help users, and really with the ROI, here's the analysis of user feedback. So this combines the survey that our students did with the Viva Insights. So this is a really powerful tool to show. We've shown it to the president's cabinet and the provost and those kinds of things. I don't know about the paid tool. I'm sorry, I can't answer that, Jennifer. But showing that 64% of people were saving between 1 and 5 hours was incredible. And looking at the email tasks performed, our user group, see, it's so hard. It is so hard. Our user group went from August to December. So that's the time frame here. So 64,000 email tasks performed, but only 200 or so people. So just think about that at scale with more people getting licenses. So it was really exciting. I definitely recommend, I don't know, maybe I am calling it the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. Thanks, Rick, for bailing me out. So yeah, using that dashboard to get analytics. And I definitely suggest, though, to doing your own survey. That was pretty instrumental as well. So like everything else we did find some challenges. So and we kind of joked about it in the Shannon and Foolery portion of the show here, matching the AI tools with user needs. So trying to help make sure that researchers were getting the tools that they needed, that users and HR, legal, things like that were being matched up with the right tool. What did faculty really need? Because a lot of the things that I'm sure everyone is seeing is now the proliferation of all the tools, right? Adobe Assistant within Adobe products and Boodlebox and all of these different things coming up, really helping our users do that was really key. And then managing the license costs. That's a challenge. I think a lot of us are facing budget cuts and things like that. The one thing that I would be remiss if I didn't mention here, we did see a huge uptick in our OneDrive storage, which has driven us into a little bit of a danger zone with our storage. So I would say just keep an eye on that, because we had researchers, and maybe your schools are different, we had researchers that were dumping all of their data into OneDrive, when really there are other tools that are probably better suited for research data than OneDrive. So we did see some of that. So that's just something to keep an eye on. And Microsoft has been great with us, working with us, and helping manage expectations and things like that. So that is something that I wanted to make sure I mentioned to this group. But definitely reach out to me if you have questions about that. Rick has been instrumental in helping us navigate this. So yeah, that is one thing to watch for. So some of the big things that we found, a lot of the hypotheses were true. We confirmed it was a secure solution. People didn't have access to things that they shouldn't. The other thing I really wanted to mention to this group when I was thinking about it last night was we got a lot of calls from folks across the community to do policy updates and things like that. And we really pushed back as a division and our VP-CIO that, again, AI is a tool. Copilot is a tool. It's in alignment with all of our data use policies, all of our acceptable use policies, all of our security policies. because it's a tool. And I think that is something that is really, really important to stress with your community. This AI is a tool, and it should be treated and governed, in my opinion, like any other tool. I'm sure there are people that hotly disagree with me, but through going through this pilot especially, it really showed me that you don't need to rewrite all of your policies and procedures and standards, because it is a tool. However, I will say we did write a purchasing guidelines for AI because there seemed to be some confusion there, but to be honest with you, it fully aligns with the original purchasing any technology tool, but we did add a component of seeking a consultation with myself or our head of research computing to just ensure that it would be secure and match digital accessibility requirements. But again, those are required for any IT purchase you make with the state. So but we did bend a little bit there just to say, hey, okay, yeah, we get it. But again, I don't even know that that was fully necessary because just purchasing another technology tool. And we found that really it would probably be best for our units and our colleges to decide how they want to purchase and utilize Copilot and Teams Premium. I think that for our school in particular, there probably wasn't a lot of appetite to go to the president or the provost for full funding for all faculty and staff to have a license, and probably not necessary. But really sharing with them, the use cases and who might be a good fit for what and things like that, and offering consultations, webinars, that's where we really want to lean in as a division to help people make the right decisions. And lastly, last steps here. So we are going to be launching Copilot university-wide in our software distribution platform to faculty and staff. Again, like I mentioned, this should be the decision of each individual college or unit. We're going to continue to offer consultations, ongoing education and communication, the Viva Insights for data collection. We're going to continue our Copilot Connection newsletter that our students started for us. And then the next step in our journey is actually doing a user persona workshop with Microsoft. So I'm really, really excited about that. I loved doing this part, and I'm even more excited to dive into some workflows with some of our users, like legal advising, career coaching, and build out some user-centric solutions. So I'm really, really thrilled about that. And the last thing that I wanted to mention is make sure that you have a stockpile of, I don't know what percentage. I did, roughly 10% of my pilot. I had an inventory of licenses because we have to use a third party to buy licenses. And so I wanted to have some of those in place because you will get requests from everybody from the president to someone that you've never even dreamt of might be interested in Copilot, wanting a license when they hear about it. And you want to be able to provide those pretty quickly, especially to those VIPs. So yes, I wish that I had thought of that at the beginning, but I did not.
I like
That's such a good
Stephanie's
point.
call out.
Yeah.
A delay can derail, and you definitely don't want to do that, especially with those
Yes.
visible folks and roles and such. Thank you, Liz. This was great. Just a lot of reminders on, for me, how important it is to get users invested in trying and using and giving feedback to help drive decision making on campus. And Stephanie, I think I started as you were starting as well. So
No, yeah, just saying the same. And, I think we've got a really great success story with you all. We've got, obviously we've heard from the group at Auburn, and there are a lot of very tight similarities to success where success has been planted. And so I hope for everyone joining the call, you're starting to see those things tease out, right? Having a champion, organizing around, whether you're calling it a champions group or tech leaders or innovators or, a community of practice, organizing and uniting people. And I cannot overstate the importance of having that persona-driven effort, because as a part-time faculty member myself and coming from education to this side, it does not become real for people until they can see their own personal value and return on investment, because this is an investment, right? And for those of us who are very comfortable with technology, it doesn't always seem like that. Copilot seems like a no-brainer, but it is a learning curve, and there is that what Gartner calls the trough of disillusionment. So when you have that community of practice around people to help push them through that and get back to the plateau of enlightenment, then you have a really solid user base that can help to sort of propagate across campus. So thank you so much, Liz, for sharing. This was really great. And I see your contact information there. Careful what you wish for. I'm sure that folks will be reaching out to get insight. So if you're cool with that, I think, just having people reach out directly would be great.
Greg, I saw your question in the chat. I think, yes, our CSAM helped us with that with a O365
COE
specialist on our side. But from my perspective, it was like super seamless. So, but I don't know if that's actually true on the back end. But yeah.
Greg, your
I answered
AE
the
or your
question
CSAM
there.
can do that. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Rick. I appreciate you. So thank you all for having me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'd love if people would reach out with their stories, especially if there are folks here that are further along than we are, that have done maybe some of the persona work or really dove deep into building the co-pilots for different kind of chatbot functionality. So I'm equally asking for help there too. So yes, we are doing a chargeback model. So the division of IT, we manage that. And then, yes, so we do a chargeback model for that. Yes.
I would say that's 98% of what we're seeing across institutions, because that model is established and people are very comfortable with it for other things. So awesome. Well, Liz, thank you so much again. And really hats off to the whole USC team. And thank you all for being here, for sharing. And as others get comfortable with their own journeys, we'd love to hear from you too. I think everybody takes a little step forward every time we hear from, all of you that are doing the work. So please reach out to one of us as hosts, or anyone on your Microsoft team if you want to share your story as well.
Absolutely. I just want to double tap on what Stephanie said. Definitely my focus this year, this half, has been to really drive with customer presentations. And we have that lined up for the next 2 weeks as well, to have customer presentations. So we'd love to have even more customers share their stories of what's working on your campuses. Last semester, we heard from so much of our Microsoft team, which is truly valuable. I'm not saying that that's not, but hearing from what you're doing directly impacts everybody, I think, just that little bit more. So as we start to look into more, we've got folks coming from Eastern Carolina University next week, and then our alma mater, Fulton County Schools, is the first week in February. Super excited to hear from them, and maybe even getting into a little bit of security with some of our friends in the Northeast. So please reach out and let us know if you'd love to share your story.
Finally,
All right,
kick everybody off. Wait,
yes.
hang on. Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm going to kick everyone off, but I just want to double down on that, is that we have found, and I think a lot of you have found, that the value of MS Office Hours is not the shenanigans, although that makes us feel really great. It's not always like, the